Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
So let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today in Europe. I'm Caroline Hepkett. We are joined by Bloomberg's equities reporter Joe Easton. Joe, good morning. So then we had some data out of BP, and their share price is actually one of the few that's doing reasonably well in Europe.
Yes, so BP up around 2.5% in London this morning, so quite a decent outperformance for that one. So the company reporting rising production and a strong result in the latest period. They are saying that they do expect to see pretty decent growth. This is not their quarterly report, but it's a bit of an update from them. They do think the 3-month production will be higher versus the first quarter, so that's been taken pretty positively. Of course, with the oil stocks, it's all about the oil price. It's come down so much, therefore it's been a bit of an underperforming sector, so it's a bit of a reprieve for BP today, and as I say, we're up around 2.5% for BP in London.
Yeah, of course, though they still have this big turnaround plan that they are enacting that they announced in February, so there's still a lot focused on that also, but BP positive today at least. Now let's think about the tariffs. I mean, BP was perhaps the one story that wasn't about tariffs today. Stellantis is down because of this universal tariff threat.
Yes, so Stellantis down pretty significantly, so down almost 3% for that one. This, as you say, it's the universal comments from Trump. So Trump saying that he could potentially slap this extra tariff on most trading partners, but also specifically the 35% tariff warning that he's given on Canadian goods. Stellantis actually makes some autos in Canada and shifts them over the border into the US, sells them there, so they would be directly affected by that. They also have production down in Mexico, so it's kind of tariffs on all sides of the US really for them. So that is the weakest of the autos, but the entire auto sector kind of taking a hit from this, given it is such a tariff-exposed sector. So we're seeing weakness in Renault, Volvo, Mercedes, BMW, all of them a little bit softer today, but Stellantis bearing the brunt of it.
And so that on the automakers. What about the luxury sector? Also some weakness there this morning. Why?
Yeah, so luxury has been an interesting one. Now, we kind of saw a bit of a boost yesterday because there's a lot of optimism around China potentially doing some stimulus, and that fed through into the market. But analysts out today just being really, really bearish. There's a great note out from Bank of America, which I've got on my screen, saying, "We are worried," quote, "about the luxury sector." And they say that they had expected to see brands that have announced new creative directors. These are companies like Kering, Gucci, and also Burberry, to see a bit of a rebound. But so far, we see no evidence of this, which makes us increasingly concerned that revenue and earnings growth modelled by analysts will be premature. And therefore, we're seeing significant weakness across the luxury space today. Seeing Kering down around 3%, LVMH was down 2%, Burberry was weaker, Brunello Cucinelli, which had results last night, kind of not doing enough to support the broader sector. So analysts becoming really bearish, including Bank of America, also Goldman Sachs, and therefore that sector is lower.
So investors didn't read the story that I read this morning about the Birkin handbag, the original, of course.
Yeah. Was it a few
Jan
million,
$10 million at auction.
$10 million for a bag.
Amazing.
Yeah, you're not gonna take that on a night out, are you? A $10 million bag.
It's going into a museum because, of course, it's about the history of fashion and so on.
Rightly so. You wouldn't want to lose that one, would you?
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.